Focus, see how a teenager is working to help create better air quality in Southwest Fresno.
And learn what Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders said at the Climate Change Summit, along with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Plus, see how air quality and the weather is affecting the health of horses. Fresno State Focus starts now. Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Brittany Steele.
And I'm Janet Vasquez. President Trump's official withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord has the former head of the Environmental Protection Agency speaking out. McCarthy headed the EPA under President Obama. She told CNN that President Trump made a terrible decision and she has a difficult time explaining the environmental policies when she travels internationally.
I try to let people know that while the federal government under the Trump is totally divesting of our responsibility here, in fact, they're going so far as to deny the science around climate change. You know, it is not of what's going on in states and cities.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo submitted formal notice to the UN last week. Pompeo called the Paris Climate unfair economy. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders held a climate crisis summit in Des Moines, Iowa. Senator Sanders said more than 2,000. The world has fewer than 12 years to avoid disastrous climate change. He said if the world burns fossil fuels and does not turn to sustainable energy, the entire planet will be at risk.
We have a moral responsibility to make certain that the planet we leave our and grandchildren is a planet that is healthy and habitable. That is not a choice. That is what we have.
Sanders was joined by Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who proposed a Green New Deal in February to eliminate carbon emissions. He is promoting his $16 trillion plan that he says could create 20 million jobs, a renewable energy-powered electric transportation systems within 10 years. By the way, Senator Sanders will be in Fresno for a rally at 6 at Fresno City College. He was supposed to be there a month ago, but had to cancel because of his heart attack. And more than 40% of bug species are going extinct. According to some scientists from the UK Wildlife Trusts, a new report says that the number of insects is declining at a fast rate. It indicates that 75% of our crops need insect pollinations. If insects are going extinct, it seriously affect the world's food supply, but this can be prevented. The report suggests how to help. This includes mowing your lawn less frequently, grow plants, and avoid using pesticides.
Sudden infant death syndrome is a silent killer and can be a concern for any parent with a baby. Joining me to talk about the issue, also known as crib death, is coordinator Natalie Adolph from the Fresno County Department of Public Health. Thanks for joining us, Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
So what exactly is SIDS?
SIDS stands for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. It's the sudden and unexplained death of a seemingly healthy infant 12 months or younger, where there's no death found after the review of the death scene, autopsy, and medical records. The diagnosis of exclusion, we've ruled out all causes. It's a seemingly normal death, but baby died, and right now we don't have a cause, and it's to hear.
And how prevalent is this issue?
Thank you for asking that. It is still the #1 cause of death, 1 month of age to 12 months of age. We have deaths per year in Fresno County and over 30 deaths in the United States every single year.
And what can we do to prevent this issue?
With SIDS, since we don't know the exact cause, there is no true way to do it. But I do have hope. We can talk about risk reduction strategies. And I really want to talk about the triple risk model. We've really pointed there's 3 areas when combined cause what we think is SIDS. So the first area is a vulnerable infant. So an infant is an infant born prematurely. It has maybe developmental issues that we didn't pinpoint, or maybe there's something going on in the brainstem. Baby is not breathing correctly, or the heart is not beating correctly, or they're not waking up when they should. We all have this beautiful thing called arousal response.
And the next two are?
And the next one would be a critical developmental period. So the first 6 months of life is when 90% of SIDS deaths occur. And that's because baby is so unstable and going through a lot of growth and development changes.
I apologize, we're running out of time.
No, that's okay.
But thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
And we've been talking to Natalie from the Fresno County Department of Public Health. Back to you, Brittany.
Sustainability is complex and being looked at closely here in the Central Valley. I'll show you what it means and how you can help combat the current climate crisis. Being sustainable is about more than the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle. It's also about people, planet, and profit.
Sustainability and the climate change, they go hand in hand, because what we're finding out now is that the way we've been using the atmosphere to just discharge carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions, that's not sustainable.
Thomas Escueda researches ways the Valley and Fresno State can combat the current climate crisis. Like others, Escueda feels anxious when he can't recycle.
There are some buildings in the campus where there are no blue bins, and I freak out when I'm, where am I going? Oh, that's a freak out moment.
Instead of using this plastic bottle once and then disposing of it, try using a reusable bottle like this one. Fresno State even has water fill stations where you can refill your reusable bottles. These blue recycle bins are part of Fresno State's sustainability plan, but they are not enough.
It was a major success getting all of these recycling bins placed on campus. However, something that was neglected, unfortunately, was like significant education regarding these, right?
Recycling runs off profit, and the materials collected depend on what the market is buying. If incorrect materials are put into the blue bins, the entire batch of recyclables is thrown out.
Going to hopefully soon be putting posters in the bottom of the USU with diagrams of like commonly purchased items that'll say what is recyclable, what is not, so contaminated materials aren't entering our recycling bins and ruining these batches.
You can combat the climate crisis by taking shorter showers, carpooling or using public transit, and not going through the drive-thru. Park and walk in instead.
All the little things we can do to create a culture of sustainability.
If you want more education on sustainability and how it's affecting the climate crisis, you can go to the Sustainability Club's Fall Symposium. That's tomorrow, where a professor from Berkeley will be speaking. You can catch them in the Henry Madden Library Ellipse Gallery from 9 to 1.
The youth movement surrounding climate change has been taking the world by storm. I had the pleasure of meeting a teen who is one of the youth voices making himself heard and making a difference in his community, right here in Fresno. Keyshawn White looks like the typical teenager, hanging out, talking shoes and sports. But the work that Keyshawn is doing in his community is anything but typical. He's an environmental justice advocate, part of the rise of youth voices tackling climate change. Adults was here, they lived, they did as much they could do, but in all reality, we're the next up. This is pretty much our planet. It began with air quality research. He was diagnosed with asthma at a young age and noticed others in Southwest Fresno had it too. He wanted to know why. Fresno Boys and Men of Color helped him in his search for answers. He and his mentor tested air quality around the city and found that the air in Southside Fresno was worse than in the north. He attributed this to the saturation of industrial plants and highways in the area. Not only angered me, but also angered me because no one knew about it. I'm pretty much holding this information that I only know. This motivated him to place air monitors at schools, which fed into an app created by him and his team. By placing air monitors around high schools like this one, anyone with the Healthy Fresno Air app can access real-time results of the air quality in the area in seconds. The app lets you know how many PMs or harmful particulate matter is in the air. His experiment has gotten lots of attention. He even met former President Obama. But his work is far from over. Climate activist Greta Thunberg has ignited a global movement of youth who are unhappy with how the climate issue is being handled. And that sparked something in Keyshawn, so he decided to organize a climate strike in Fresno. Usually when global things happen, the smaller cities really don't get wind of it. They kind of just pass it by like,
the bigger cities taking care of it. So we're able to do that in Fresno really meant a lot to me.
His twin brother Keon helped him lead the strike, and he's proud of the work his brother's done.
To see how it came from all a little idea into what it is now, I'm really proud of him. I don't even think he grasped the greatness that he's doing yet.
They have more strikes planned, and Keyshawn's message for his fellow youth is this:
educate yourself. So when you are eligible to vote, you know what you're doing and you're just not marking boxes and tallies.
Young people around the world are fighting against climate change, and these brothers are proof that it's no different here. The world has Greta Thunberg, and Fresno has its very own Keyshawn White. If you would like to keep following Keyshawn's work, visit his Facebook page at Keyshawn White Cleaner Air Experiment. Coming up on Fresno State Focus, we'll show you how climate change is affecting the well-being of horses.
And we'll talk to the editor-in-chief of the Collegian to get a quick focus on the top stories in this week's newspaper.
Plus, it looks like cooler temperatures are coming our way. I'll have your focus on weather when we come back.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
I'm Gina Avalos with your forecast on weather. If we take a look at our beauty shot, we can see it is fall. There are fall leaves on the ground, but it is a bit cloudy today. And if we take a look at our national satellite, as you can see right over here by the Detroit, Michigan area, as well as the Houston area, they will be expecting some scattered snow showers. It is not normal. It is about freezing over there. They are not used to this type of temperature, but if we look at our western satellite, you can see right over here a storm wants to come into the California area, but a high pressure system is blocking it. If we take a look at our current weather temperatures, Stockton, Modesto, Mariposa is all 70s, except with the exception of Shaver Lake and Avenal in the 80s. If we take a look at tonight's weather, Stockton, Modesto, Mariposa, all in the 50s, but as well as Shaver Lake, you look at is in the low 40s. If we take a look and focus on the air quality, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, Merced are all in the moderate, but in the Kings and Kern, it is unhealthy for sensitive groups. But if we take a look at Sequoia, it is a good air quality. So if you're thinking about going over there, really take advantage of that. If we take a look at our extended outlook, looks like today, Thursday, and Friday is going to be cloudy. But if we go into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it will get back to the sunny. And then Tuesday, it'll be 70, partly cloudy with a 44 in the evening. And that is your weather forecast. Back to you.
The Collegian is an institution on campus and a news partner to us here at Fresno State Focus. Alice Blescavijo takes us into the newsroom to see what's in the paper this week.
I'm actually in the Collegian newsroom with Editor-in-Chief Seth Casey. Thank you so much for being here with us. So I want to talk about a few of the stories that are happening here on campus. Can you tell me a little bit about the new deal here on campus?
Right. So Fresno State recently partnered with the Punjab Agriculture University to share research and discuss common areas of ag issues where we can benefit each other.
And I actually heard that there's a play here on campus in the next couple of days. Can you tell me a little bit about that too?
So the play is called Clown Bar. It's put on by the Experimental Theater Company, so it's all student-run, student-directed. And that play actually starts this Friday.
November 15th, this Friday.
The 15th. Mm-hmm.
And I know last week we had the annual Day of Giving. Can you tell me a little brief down or of that, what happened that day?
Yeah, so this was the third annual Day of Giving. They raised over $550,000 for the university, which is up 20% from last year's numbers.
Thank you so much, Seth. In the Collegiate Newsroom, Elizabeth Clavijo, Fresno State Focus.
Fresno State's Day of Giving is over, but the gift of giving is sticking around. For the third year in a row, the College of the Arts and Humanities at Fresno State received the most donations out of all colleges on the campus. That money will fund scholarships, programs, and the overall student experience. As Interim Dean Dr. Onra Chapman likes to give back to Day of Giving donors by delivering homemade cookies that day. Starting the next day, Chapman also spends hours handwriting thank you cards to each person who donated to the College of Arts and Humanities.
It's the opportunity to show gratitude for what everybody has done by giving both small and large gifts. Each person has made their mark on the university by providing resources for our students.
During the rest of the academic year, you can still donate online. Just go to your area's website and look for the donate button.
Tomorrow is the MCJ Department's Hall of Fame. And today I have Hall of Fame team member McKenna Gilman, who is going to talk with us about the event. Thank you so much for joining us, McKenna.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So first thing that we want to talk about, McKenna, is what is the meaning or the goal of this event?
Yeah, you know, this event is all about really cultivating the MCJ family. And so at this event, we are going to be honoring and celebrating our scholars, our Hall of Fame inductees, as well as our fellows. And all of that is also to raise money for scholarships.
So speaking of the inductees, who's being inducted this year?
You know what? Our two Hall of Famers are George Gruner and Jim Wilson. So it's really exciting. These two gentlemen have done amazing things in their career. So it's an honor to be able to celebrate them.
That's awesome. And so you also mentioned scholarships.
Absolutely.
And you guys are recognizing the students that receive scholarships from the MCJ department. So how many students are being recognized?
You know, we have 22 scholar recipients. Not all of them are going to make it, but most of them will. And that's actually 31 scholarships. So a few of our scholars are receiving multiple. And that's also really good because there's even some that haven't been given away yet. So it's really noticeable. You know, if people are looking for scholarships out there, they are there. And so just apply for them and we can honor you next year.
So for those scholarships that weren't applied for, where did that money go?
You know what? I don't know that money went anywhere at this point, but there are more, you know, that money is ready to give away for scholars in the future. So, and there's multiple different, you know, individuals as well as companies and businesses that have given these scholarships. So it's a real honor to be able to recognize and thank them for what they've done.
Thank you so much for joining us, McKenna. That is a lot of awesome information. And I know I can't wait for tomorrow because I'm one of the scholarship honorees, so I can't wait. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Back to you, Janet.
We previously showed you the inauguration for the equestrian team's new locker room. Now let's take a look inside. Erica Rosinski is live at the Horse Center to give us a quick look inside. Hi, Erica.
Hi guys, yes, I'm here in the new locker room and you can just see how beautiful it is. I will take you over to my locker and you can go ahead and see that the cubby is open. You can see my name up top. I mean, isn't that just lovely? And you can see the stuff I have up here. I mean, I got the essentials, I got deodorant, the makeup wipes, all that fun stuff. You can see the helmets that I have. And down below here, it's a nice little cushy seat that I can put inside my boots and everything that I need for practice. And I actually had practice earlier, so that's why I'm dressed like this. I'll take you over to the showers that we have. And it just keeps on going back, and you can see this nice shower, how big it is, and there is a seat in the back. And so after practice, when we get dirty and we just want to clean ourselves off, and when it's hot, then we just make sure that we come in here and take a shower. But the thing is horses are athletes too. So what do the horses do? Now, for centuries, the weather has been affecting horses. And for some horses, they just can't handle the climate. I'll show you why.
The recent wildfires have been sending California air quality into the hazardous zone. The poor air quality makes breathing difficult for almost anyone. But what has it been doing to horses?
Some that do have asthma, they will essentially break down just like how we will. They'll have asthma attacks. Some will get hives because of it, just because they can't breathe. They get runny eyes just like we do.
Not only is the air quality changing, but so is the weather.
It's the middle of November, but it feels like summer. Some of the things that we do to make sure our horses stay cool and they don't overheat is to clip them, like I did here with Happy.
The maintenance as far as making sure those horses are blanketed at night and things like that. But if they're kind of warm and hairy and they're out of shape, we'll put them on an electrolyte to help their bodies maintain that balance that they need.
Making sure horses stay hydrated is another important part of maintaining balance. But if it's hot during the day and cold at night, then trying to get them to drink enough water becomes a priority.
It's vital for them to continue to be hydrated for their intestinal tracts, keep moving through their digestive system. So that's one of the hugest things that affects the horses with a change of weather.
Certain strategies are taken to make sure the health of every horse is at its best. Those strategies change every time the weather does.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus, we'll show you how climate change is affecting water sources, including recreational activities like jet skiing and boating.
And in sports, as part of our partnership with the Collegian, sports editor Jorge Rodriguez tells us what's next for our football team after a heartbreaking loss this past weekend.
I got the bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head. Up in my head. I got that bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that bulldog spirit down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit down in my toes. Hey, down in my toes to stay. I got that bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that bulldog spirit.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. From Sweeney to Hill, Carr to Tedford, those iconic lights and that old checkerboard. Inside Bulldog Stadium, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
Welcome back. Here's your focus on sports. In our partnership with the Fresno State Collegian, sports editor Jorge Rodriguez joining us today to go over what's happening this week. Thank you for joining us, Jorge.
Thank you for having me.
So starting with football, last week's loss against Utah State was pretty close. How do you think the Bulldogs can prepare for this game against San Diego State?
It was definitely a heartbreaker for the Bulldogs. But one of the good things that happened also that Saturday was that San Diego State lost. With that loss, they still have a chance of making it to 7 wins, which is it makes them eligible to make it to a bowl game.
Okay, and then we're going to move on to men's basketball. We saw Paul George came back and to retire his jersey for the home opener. That was an exciting game, right?
Yeah, it was a really good game. Also, Paul George, just brought this atmosphere to the Seymour Center that we hadn't seen in a while. It was a great day for basketball. They put his jersey up in the rafters of the Seymour Center at halftime. A couple players from the Clippers came over. The Doc Rivers, the coach of the Clippers, was there, and even the owner of the Clippers was also there, Steve Ballmer.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, so let's move on to the equestrian. They moved up from number 7 to number 6, which is super exciting for them. What can we expect for their last fall meet?
Their last fall meet, they're going against a somewhat good UC Davis team. They should win this one. They should have it in the bag. So it should be fun. It should be a good one. It's on Friday.
Okay, thank you for that. We've been talking with Collegian sports editor Jorge Rodriguez. Thanks, Jorge.
Thank you.
That's your focus on sports, and back to you, Brittany.
Threatening wildfires are damaging homes, plants, and our lives, but some people are doing their part to help prevent these fires. Inmates from Warm Springs Correctional Center in Carson City are raising sagebrush plants. These plants help to hold the ecosystem together and are planted in burn-scarred areas. Sagebrush helps by replacing what would otherwise be dried grass, which is prone to catch fire. For 7 days a week and most of the year, about a dozen prisoners raise thousands of plants.
Water has always been a topic of conversation in California, especially in the Central Valley. But how does water affect recreational activities? Alisbeth Cavijo shows us how locals are affected.
Mike Pulowski has been launching his boat at the Millerton Lake ramp for years. He says the water level is dropping faster than ever.
2 weeks ago, we were launching on a different ramp here.
This road is usually covered in water. Pulowski says he expects the level to go much lower.
I'm actually standing on one of the ramps right now where most visitors use this to unload their boats and jet skis. However, they're now having to drive all the way to the middle of the lake just to seek closer water.
If I were to guess, would have another 3 or 4 weeks before they move to the next lower set of ramps. So there's boat launch ramps underwater right now.
Ranger Steve Barber says this is a norm for Millerton Lake. There is either too little water or too much.
Water is here primarily for agricultural use. So that prevents us from making any type of permanent facilities in the underneath the scar of the high water mark.
Dr. Sharon Bennis studies irrigation water use. She says climate change is blamed for wild weather swings that causes longer dry periods and wetter winters. She expects the valley to experience more droughts in the future.
Typically happens then is that we have less snow in the Sierras, and more of that, our precipitation comes as rain rather than snow. And the snow is the storage of water that we have.
Less snow means less water for farmers. It also means boaters like Pulowski, who need water for recreation activities, may leave to look elsewhere. At Millerton Lake, Alisbeth Clavijo, Fresno State Focus.
For a list of more lakes around the area, visit CaliforniaGreatLakes.com.
Fresno State's campus blood drive is this week. The Central California Blood Center teams up with Fresno State once every semester. It takes about 5,000 to 6,000 pints of blood per month to meet the need in the Central Valley. Donating blood takes about 30 minutes. Students can go in between classes and are encouraged to stop by to donate. Every pint you donate can help save up to 3 lives. This specific blood drive is in memory of someone many people know on campus.
This sticker, I donated blood in honor of Chief Huerta. So Chief Huerta was the chief of police of the Fresno State Police Department. Unfortunately, he passed away, so we dedicated this blood drive to him.
If you would like to donate blood and help save lives, the Blood Center will be on campus for the rest of the week. They will be parked in front of the USU. Have you given blood yet this year?
No, I haven't. I actually never given blood.
Really?
Have you?
I've given blood once. I gave it the last blood drive, and I'm not too good with needles, so I'm probably not going to be doing it again, at least not for a while, because I was a little traumatized with the needle not too long ago.
Yeah, but it's a good endeavor.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you can donate. I think everybody should if they can.
Next week on Fresno State Focus, we will continue to highlight the environment and the effects of climate change on many aspects of our lives. We'll show you how farm workers are affected by climate change.
Plus, see how some people are using salt therapy as a detox from the bad air quality here in the Central Valley.
Also learn why hundreds of trees are dying in the Sierra.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.